Lecture number 5, part 2. Good morning to all of you. Uh, I hope you understood part 1 lecture. Part 1 lecture we considered 6 essentials of supply. Okay, we saw how a transaction can be called a supply. Supply of goods and services compulsory. Consideration for supply. Supply must be during the course of business or furtherance. It must be undertaken by the taxable person. Taxable supply must be there and made within taxable territory. If these 6 components there, then that transaction can be called supply that we saw. And we also saw section 7.1 supply definition, section 7 subsection 1 of CGST Act. It defines supply as supply includes, is an inclusive definition. So sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, rentals, lease, disposal. Clear? Okay, and it also includes any import of services for a consideration, whether or not in the course of furtherance of business, and some of the activities which are without consideration also to be considered supply. These are mentioned in schedule 1. Today we are going to see, that is part 2, we are going to see the items which are without consideration, or activities which are without consideration, or supply which are without consideration but to be considered as supply. First one, let's look at the first one. Schedule 1, the list is in schedule 1. Okay, the heading of the list is activities made or agreed to be made without a consideration to be treated as supply, schedule 1. And the first item is permanent transfer or disposal of business assets on which where input tax credit has been availed on such assets. Clear? Okay, now let us take a case of a business. Here this business unit given out one of their laptops to one of his employees without consideration. Without consideration. Like look at this, without consideration. And here this is a permanent transfer or disposal of business asset. Clear? Okay, this is without consideration. So actually this is not a supply. But look at this. If input tax credit availed on this laptop, then this comes under schedule 1, item number 1. Clear? Let's take the example. Suppose the supplier, when they bought the laptop, they paid 2,000 to the supplier as GST. Okay, and that particular month they are supposed to pay 10,000 GST to the government. But instead of paying 10,000, they deducted 2,000, that is GST on input tax here, which they have paid. Look at that. This is the GST 2,000 which they pay to the supplier. Now they deduct that. Yes, this is called input tax credit. So they availed input tax credit in this transaction. When they bought this laptop, they availed input tax credit. So even though without consideration, this is to be considered as a supply and GST to be paid. Item number 1. Item number 2. So let us take an example before we go into item number 2. A dealer of TV who has availed input tax credit on TV permanently transfers a TV from his stock in trade for personal use at his residence. Will this transfer for personal use be treated as supply and liable for GST? One of the TVs he permanently transferred for his personal use. Okay. Now look at the answer. Such transactions, though without a consideration, shall be considered as supply and be liable to GST, as it is a permanent transfer of TV on which ITC was claimed. Clear? I hope you understood this point. Item number 1. Now we will go another case we will take, and through this case we will find out charging of GST. L, a lawyer, purchased 3 laptops of value of 2,40,000 on 1/10/2017. He bought 3 laptops for rupees 2,40,000. Okay, and he paid GST amounting to rupees 67,200 on 2,40,000. 28% GST he paid. And the lifespan of the laptop is 5 years. And the GST paid 67,200 he used as input tax credit. He availed input tax credit with the 67,200. After 3 years using the laptop, he has donated 1 laptop to a college. 1 laptop he donated to a college when its fair market value is rupees 30,000. Now the question is, will this donation be treated as supply liable to GST? Yeah, here he donated 1 laptop to the college. That means without consideration. But yes, this is taxable. Why? Because he already claimed ITC on this laptop. Let's see the calculation. How to calculate. Clear? First, understood this? Even though it is without consideration, shall be considered as supply and liable to GST as it is a permanent transfer as per Schedule 1. Now, what is the amount of GST he must pay? GST payable is the ITC available for the remaining lifespan of the asset, or tax payable on the fair market value of the asset, whichever is higher. Don't forget that, whichever is higher. Let's see the calculation. IGST paid for 3 laptops 67,200. Okay, so ICT claimed for the 3 laptops also 67,200. Clear? Now ICT for 1 laptop equals 67,200 divided by 3. 22,400 is the ICT which he claimed on that laptop. But this laptop he used for 3 years. So remaining 2 years ICT we will calculate. Okay, 22,400 into 2 upon 5. So you get 8,960. So tax on market value, 30,000 is the market value into 28%, you get 8,400. So as per the rule, GST payable is 8,960 or 8,400, whichever is higher. So in this case, he is liable to pay 8,960 as GST. Hope you understood this case. We go to the second situation. Schedule 1, second item. Supply of goods or services or both between related person or between distinct person as specified in section 25 when made in the course of furtherance of business. So supply of goods or services or both between a related person. That means one related person, between related person transfer takes place. That is a supply. Similarly, distinct person. This is section 15. We will see section 25. Who are the related person? First one, such persons are officers or directors of one another's business. Clear? They are. Second one, such persons are legally recognized partners in the business. Third case, such persons are employer and employee. Employer, employee, related person. Clear? Any person directly or indirectly owns, controls or holds 25% or more of the voting outstanding voting stock. That means if he holds more than 20% of the equity shares, yes, then such a person is also a related person. okay, to the company. One of them directly or indirectly controls the other. Any one directly or indirectly controls the other. Yes. Next one, both of them are directly or indirectly controlled by a third person, or together they directly or indirectly control a third person. A third person. Clear? Okay. So they are members of the same family. These are related persons. So transfer between them called supply of goods, and it attracts GST. Now let us take an example. Employees of R Limited, which is a subsidiary of G Limited, have been sent on deputation basis to its holding company, namely G Limited. Will such transfer on deputation be treated as supply and liable to GST? Let's take this case. See whether they are related person. Yes, such transfer of employee shall fall within the meaning of the term supply, even in the absence of any consideration, as both the companies fall under the definition of related person. R Limited and G Limited falls under the definition of related person, so this attracts GST. Clear? Now let us look at who are the distinct persons. Section 25, subsection 2, subsection 4 and 5 tells us who are the distinct person. Number 1, a person having principal business verticals, multiple business verticals in a state or union under one registration. Under one registration, he is having more units. All these units are called a distinct person. A person having more than one registration, whether in one state or union territory, or more than one state or union territory, each such registration be treated as distinct persons for the purpose of this act. Suppose he is having more registration. Yes, because one state, one registration. Clear. So if he is having a unit in another state, then he needs to register there. In such case, that they are also called distinct person. And thirdly, where a person having registration in a state or a union territory in respect of an establishment as an establishment in another state or union territory, then such establishment shall be treated of distinct person for the purpose of this act. Clear. These are three situations of distinct persons. In short, distinct persons are persons with different GSTN belongs to one legal entity, that means single PAN number but different GSTIN, yes, then two different states or in a different, maybe in two different states or in a different country, then also called distinct person. Hope you understood it. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let us look at this case. R is engaged in supply of certain goods in Delhi and Haryana. He wishes to transfer goods worth 2,20,000 from Delhi to its branch in Haryana. Will such transfer be treated as supply and liable for GST? Clear? R shall be treated as distinct person. R's business in Haryana and Delhi, distinct persons. Okay? So, we need to treat this as supply and GST to be charged. Clear? Okay. The term person also includes legal person. Clear? Okay. Persons who are associated in the business of one another, in that one is a sole agent or sole distributor or sole concessionaire, howsoever described of the other shall be deemed to be related. Okay. Associated in the business for one another, yes, maybe as a sole agent or a sole distributor or whatever, also called a related person. Supply of goods is the third item we will see. Yeah, by a principal to his agent, where the agent undertakes to supply such goods on behalf of the principal, or second case, agent to his principal, where the agent undertakes to receive such goods on behalf of the principal. Okay. Principal to his agent, where the agent undertakes to supply such goods on behalf of principal. Clear? Let's look at two examples. One, R works as an agent and is located in Mumbai. G is a manufacturer located in Delhi. R agrees to purchase certain goods from Mumbai on behalf of G every month and supply the same to G. Will the above activity be treated as supply and liable for GST? Look at that. R is an agent and G is the principal. R purchase certain goods from Mumbai on behalf of G and send it to G. Clear? As per Schedule 1 of CGST Act, supply of goods by an agent to his principal, where the agent undertakes to receive such goods on behalf of the principal, shall be treated as supply even if it is without consideration. Thus, such supply of goods by R to G shall fall within the term of supply even if made without consideration. This supply of goods from R to G shall be subject to integrated tax under IGST Act. Okay. Next case, R is the principal located in Nagpur, Maharashtra, supplies certain goods to his agent. His agent located in Delhi. G undertakes to supply the said goods in Delhi on behalf of R. Will the above activity be treated as supply under GST, liable for GST? Okay. Answer same, because we saw their agent to principal, here principal to agent. Okay. Principal located in Nagpur, supply of goods to his agent. Clear? Okay. So this case also to be treated as supply and GST to be charged. I hope you understood the details. Schedule 1. So these are the items that come under supply, and with this we can proceed solving problem. Thank you very much for attending, listening to this lecture carefully, and I request you to continue. Once again, go through the video and try to understand. If any difficulty, please let me know. I'll answer it in the next video, or I can directly answer your questions through WhatsApp or mail. And please don't forget to subscribe.